Vivid dreams tend to occur most frequently when you're stressed, at least as far as I'm concerned. I've only ever had 4 dreams in my life that stuck with me to this day. Some of them are strange, like this one I had a few years ago. I was in a bright room, nothing but white light all around me. I was searching through the unending room, just walking. Right then I heard a voice. "Son." I turned around to look and saw nothing. "Barry, over here," the voice called out. There in the distance stood a man, but the light was so bright and he was so far away, I couldn't see him. "Who are you?" I screamed out. "Come to me, my son, and I will reveal myself to you, for you know who I am." I only thought it was God, but something inside me said otherwise. He spoke as though he was a Bible character and his voice echoed like a deity, but it just didn't feel right. I started walking towards him. The closer I got, the more I felt as though I did know him. "Who are you?" I kept asking, and all he would reply with is, "Come to me, my son." The closer I got, the more detailed his face became. I started to see him. The room was getting smaller, but I wasn't scared. I felt as though I was becoming more than just me, like I was ascending to a new world, but not heaven. It's so hard to explain, but it was such a simple feeling. I could almost see his face. I was about 10 feet away when all of a sudden, my brother jumped on my bed and woke me up. "David, why?" I sighed. "Mom made pancakes, let's eat." I was very annoyed, but there was nothing I could do. That dream has never left my mind. The feelings, the curiosity. To this day, I actually care about who that figment was. But not all dreams are so mysterious. Some of them are very sinister, and this nightmare is the last vivid dream that I've had thus far. It was a cold winter morning. I headed over to my friend's house. He needed to go to the mall for something large, and I was the only person he knew who had a truck. In my dream, I had a tall white 4x4 pickup truck and for some reason a rifle strapped to the side. I don't recall being a hunter, but I guess it just kind of fit the way the truck looked in my dream. We park and walk through the entrance of the mall. The place was a lot bigger in my dream than the one in my actual town. We started walking around for what seemed to be a few seconds when we hear a gunshot. A man standing in the middle of the 2-story mall had shot upwards into the air. I thought there'd be panic, but everyone was still and afraid. Eric and I were on the top floor of the mall and the guy who shot the gun was on the bottom. We looked ever so slightly over the railing as he spoke. "Everyone leave the mall. Do not call the police or I will kill the hostages in front of me. All I want is for every store to empty the registers and give me the money. For every hour this takes, I'll kill a hostage." He had such a gravelly voice, but he seemed so calm and serious. I started to move away when Eric said, "Barry, that's your gun. He stole your gun." I turned to look and sure enough, he had my rifle. God knows why that thing would be on the side of my truck for anyone to take, but I guess I just never thought it would happen. I turned to Eric. "I don't care. Let's just get out of here." "No," he said. "I'm not letting him do this with your gun." I was shocked and confused. Why did he care so much about the stupid gun? But I couldn't stop him. He'd already started sprinting down the stairs and started running at the man. He pulled a knife that he always had on him, and when he got close enough, he started to yell. The man barely turned to Eric and slammed the butt of my gun into his face. Eric flew back, coming in and out of consciousness as I ran up to help my friend. The man pointed my own rifle at me and told me to leave. "Please," I begged. "Let me take my friend and get out of here." I was so afraid that I was going to die. I closed my eyes and waited. The man started laughing. I opened my eyes as he lowered the gun. "Get your friend out of here. If you come back, I will kill you." I grabbed Eric and the knife and started running back for the truck. I made it outside with him and set him down on the bench. The idea was for me to pull up to the front door. See, Eric was kind of heavy and I was too tired and too in shock to carry him. I heard him muttering, but I couldn't hear. I don't know if it was the adrenaline or if he was still out of it, but I didn't hear a word. "I'll be right back, okay?" I said, and I sprinted for the truck. I was parked quite a ways out, but I made it to the truck and got inside. I just kind of sat there for a second, shaking and looking down at my steering wheel. I knew I had to leave, but my body just didn't want to move. I closed my eyes and breathed in very deeply. I turned the key and headed for the entrance. Only, Eric was gone. Where would he go? The only thing I could think is that he went back inside, but he wasn't that stupid, was he? I sprinted out of the truck and headed back inside. I looked down over the railing and Eric is on his knees facing away from the guy who has my rifle to the back of Eric's head. Time slowed down. I started to run down the stairs towards them, but they were on the other side of the mall. I heard the shot, and I stopped in my tracks. Eric had fallen over. He was dead. All of a sudden, something overtook me. I felt so much pain, but it was overshadowed by anger. I wanted revenge. This man killed my friend with my gun, and I now felt the anger that I feel compelled Eric to want this man dead. Eric's knife was still with me. I'd forgotten about it up until that point. I started walking calmly across the mall floor. It was so strange. I didn't even care if the man saw me coming. I didn't care if I died. I just wanted to kill him. The man was just standing there looking over my dead friend, showing the hostages that this would be them very soon if he didn't get his money. Suddenly he stopped. He heard me coming from behind him. He turned around, but it was too late. The second he turned, I drove the knife into his abdomen. He looked at me with terror in his eyes, and it was odd. It was like I knew what he was thinking. He was regretful and scared. My rifle fell from his hand as he trembled. He looked into my eyes, and with his strength he spoke. He said one word. Please. I smiled and ripped the knife upward. I was happy to watch him die. I was now the monster in his place, and I only wanted to see him suffer for what he had done. His eyes drew blank and he fell to the ground. The hostages fled, and I was a hero. But I felt like a villain. This is only one of the nightmares that I faced that made me feel awful when I awoke. Dreams can do such strange and unpleasant things to you, and after all these vivid nightmares, I always woke up wondering if I was the monster in my dream. They're definitely fun stories to tell, but there's another level of malice when you're there, experiencing it. It can almost make you dread going to bed the next night.